Hi all, my name is Rob Schell and I help lead our go-to-market team here at Zenput. I want to thank all of you for taking time to join today's session in which we'll be discussing the role that technology is playing in modernizing restaurant operations. For those of you that have been in the industry for quite some time, you understand that organizations are adopting and investing in technology more than they ever have before across their business, to really help them achieve several different key goals and initiatives that they may have for their organization. We've seen restaurant operators look to technology as a way to save their employees in the field and in the restaurant time and give them hours back in their day, to boost their visibility around everything that's happening in their environment, to increase the speed in which they receive information from their restaurant or their field team members, and overall inject some agility into their operations so they're better able to react and adapt to current market conditions. So today we'll hear from several operators on some of the technology that they're leveraging currently to help with some of these key priorities and the overall impact that it's made for their business. Here's what they had to say.
We had procedures and standard operating procedures and processes in place, but they really were getting done inconsistently. And it fell on the manager to constantly monitor them, even when they weren't at work, and then to follow up. And we just felt like we were spinning our wheels a little bit.
So when we started to look for platforms and tools, Zenput rose to the top of the list because not only was it meeting the key requirements of the business, it also was easy to deploy and scalable. And through our implementation, we found Zenput to be an excellent partner. What Zenput allows us to do is have a self-sufficient platform that really empowers our retail leadership and location managers to ensure that they're meeting safety and compliance.
Before Zenput, I was filling in as a district manager for about 8 months as part of one of our leadership development experiences, just to get some in-person experience. And we had the paper checklists, and it was always a challenge for me to really know that my stores were doing them without physically being there and kind of going back and checking over their work. How has Zenput really helped us with navigating the time? I think the biggest thing right now is that you really need to be agile in the current environment. There's things changing so frequently, and being able to just quickly adapt the tools that they're using, the checklists that they're using on a daily basis. That's been a big help for us, just to make sure our teams are doing the latest and greatest and doing what we need to do to be safe for the employees and for the customers.
What we've done is used tools like Zenput to use photography, close-up photography, and confirmation of some of our processes and signed procedures. For instance, if there's a certain disinfecting checklist that needs to be completed, we'll have that checklist, the completed checklist, photographed into a Zenput form, as well as the pictures of certain areas of the restaurant. For our multi-unit leadership, this has been a much easier way for them to evaluate restaurant operations.
Zenput has been instrumental in our ability to elevate our food safety, elevate our employee and customer safety, especially with COVID happening. And from a food safety perspective, as well as an employee and customer safety perspective, it's really probably the best insurance that we can have to really ensure that execution of very important and critical procedures are occurring. We can understand where the gaps are and where the pockets of our organization are that aren't executing them the way that we need to, and we can address that right away before a problem does occur. The challenges of COVID have really forced a lot of really accelerated the adoption of a lot of new technology and a lot of changes in the business landscape, especially for restaurants. And we are no different. Frankly, I think that COVID is what got us using Zenput a lot sooner than maybe we would have otherwise. It was something that we were exploring, but I think that with COVID happening, it really forced our hand and accelerated the process, and I'm really happy it did. The biggest benefit really has just been that visibility, because we obviously, with 200 restaurants, we can't be in every restaurant every day. And so the ability to see throughout the shifts, throughout all the restaurants, what our execution level is, and be able to identify if there's areas where execution is not where it needs to be and address those as quickly as we can.
What we did in the past is everything was done manually. It was written down as far as what we called a red book. Now, at times, the red books would not get to the stores on time, so they didn't have the materials they needed on a daily basis. Some of the things, they would tear things out of the red book, tear a form out of the red book, fill it out and fax it in. Sometimes it's not legible. Sometimes it comes through completely garbled, and if the store number's not on there right, we have no idea where it came from. So a lot of communications were getting lost. I would tell anybody that Zenput is well worth the money and the time. The team likes it, the crew likes it, the managers think it's a great tool. It helps them manage their day more effectively and manage their time more effectively. The above store leaders like it because they know what's going on up to the minute. They're able to check into the restaurants and check Zenput and make sure that everything's been done.
Technology has been key for us for the last several years, but even more important during the COVID crisis. We've focused a lot in the last few years in improving all of our technology in the stores, from the POS to camera systems, all of those being integrated. Very important.
Talking about what the challenges would be, if we didn't have Zenput dealing with COVID and all of the issues that we face today, I truly think that we'd probably be blind to some of the issues that we have along the way. So right now we're able to track just the compliance, making sure the checklists, everything that gets done. And for us as a company, on a weekly basis, we were at 94% last week. So that means all of our tasks, temperatures, everything was being completed on time, and that's just transparency, and that's allowing us, again, when we talk about being safe, supported, and seen, it allows us to know that we're serving safe products and we're able to see what's happening in our stores.
So before the pandemic, we had already switched out all of our paper-based daily checklists to digital checklists in the Zenput app. So as a result, when the head office changed the policies and the procedures, it was updated on the restaurant tablets immediately. So this way, after we had trained the restaurant staff on the new policies and new procedures, the restaurant management team and also the head office operations team, they were able to measure the compliance rates in real time.
So Zenput allows us to be a lot more agile when we're trying to react to a new situation, and allows us to be proactive rather than reactive.
We made the decision when we bought the Danish market that we would use all of the bells and whistles that came with Zenput. But for us, it was really important that we had everything in place to make it as simple as possible for our team to do their jobs properly. I think it's really important for a couple of reasons for us. The first one is that it gives me the overview that I need of what's happening in the store without having to be there every single day. For me, I kind of see it as my eyes in the store. So I don't need to be in a store to know exactly what's happening at any time. And I can see if the checklists are getting done and who's doing it. And because all of the checklists, everyone has to attach a photo for every checklist. So I can see whether or not it actually is being done. It's not just a tick and flick exercise, which we all know most checklists normally are. So there's some accountability that we can build into these checklists, which is just really important for a store when you can't be in all of them all the time.
The Zenput system is both intuitive and easy to use. It's allowed us to update checklists and SOPs almost immediately, and as a consequence, we have been able to differentiate ourselves from other competitors in the market with visibly better standards and operating protocols at a much faster pace.
Zenput has allowed us to make changes in our organization that we need to make very quickly. When we've needed to respond with new checklists or disinfecting logs or any new procedure that we need to execute in every store every day, we found that Zenput has been a great tool for us. Our employees understand it, our managers use it, our upper management or senior management believe in it. So it's made every change we've had to make over these last 6 months very smooth and very effective.